Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Did you take that cold shower like I did? In the last episode, just thinking about it's making me sweat. That was something. I still feel awkward for reading all that shit out loud, but something tells me we are not done with that situation. But maybe we are, I don't know. Anyway, we still got more things to do, like build this cockpit so she can fly the plane herself. So, let's get back to the story, shall we? And Aga's talking about seats fitting and shit. So, yeah. Moving on. Yeah. That bottom of yours, though. She answered nervously, sitting in the cockpit. Katori was checking the seat designed for her. We finally finished! Is what I wanted to say. But... Aw, weak sauce, dude. Double weak sauce. Wrong parts. The package that Agatha went ahead to collect ended up containing different parts than what we had ordered. Thanks to that, Katori's cockpit was still incomplete. Damn it, we have to wait a whole day? Damn it. That means we can't do shit until the day after that, and that's the earliest. Hearing the conversation, Katori was timidly trying out the control stick. Uh-huh. There were no pedals in Katori's cockpit. In addition to the control stick, there was an unfamiliar lever. So how was it? Katori looked at me somewhat apologetically. Why wouldn't that be okay? We installed Katori's cockpit as the front seat in our two-seater. Agatha looked over at me. I should explain. No problem. It's not that this cockpit is exclusively for your use. It only has the rudder operated by hand. Once I get the feeling of it, I'll be able to handle it as well. Yeah, fuck being in the back seat. I want to fly from the front, bitch. Katori curbed the excitement in her voice. She was looking at the control stick eagerly, like a child about to unwrap Christmas presents. The desire to fly right away oozed from her whole body. Okay. We're lacking some parts, so it can't be helped. In other words, until we complete that, there won't be any tests. So what do we do until then? We're gonna have to find some way to pass the time. Anyway, Katori was helped out of the cockpit and onto her wheelchair, but her excitement didn't cool down. Ooh, Amane's here. Hello. Amane Senpai, who showed up out of nowhere, stuck her head inside the cockpit as soon as Katori had gotten out. When you come here, at least say something, please? Amane chattered as she checked out the cockpit that she designed. She's a little busy right now? Ooh. Asa-chan tapped her shoulder and Amane Senpai raised her head. What the fuck do you want? Katori approached Senpai. Amane Senpai was reluctant and cautious. Apparently she remembered how Katori threatened to chop her on the head some time ago. Don't karate chop her. Don't do it. Senpai leaned down as she was told, and Katori with both hands. Big hug. Yep, that's what I thought. And she hugged her. Katori was hugging her, resembling a koala holding onto a eucalyptus tree and swaying sideways. Hey, you're supposed to reserve that like for me, okay? We don't have a lot of like going around right now. Anyway, when Katori was satisfied with conveying her emotions, she finally let go. Katori got so emotional she seemed about to cry. Everyone looked at her like she was exaggerating. Indeed. Katori nodded silently with a stiff expression, but her eyes betrayed her excitement. Your eyes betray you, fool. Crap, I'm late. My mother called me, so after club activities were over, I dropped by my house for the first time in a while. There was some stuff related to my job as the dorm mother to discuss. I guess another reason is that it's good to show myself at home once in a while. I have to get back quickly and get dinner ready. I'm home! soon as I got in the entry hall, Asa-chan pointed at me and shouted. What? Oh, she's looking out for me, isn't she? What is it? What? Let me guess. Is she cooking dinner without me or something? Anyway, what was that just now? I tilted my head in wonder, and then Katori came speeding down the hallway in her wheelchair. She approached me very quickly, sharply braked at the last moment, and grabbed my hand. What do you want? Jesus Christ, man. Got a stage 5 clinger here. Anyway, what's wrong? As she called out, Asa-chan stepped forward. Okay. Does she need me to do something to calm her ass down? I mean, I could think of a couple things. Just saying. Okay then. Okay. Really? I'm sorry I'm late. But why did she have Asa-chan explain this? Here you go. A present. A 6-pack of Häagen-Dazs. Oh. There's some for Asa-chan and the others too. I got them from my mother. Sure, go ahead. Dinner will be a little late anyway. Dinner will be late, oh no. Well, you better help yourself. We all ate Häagen-Dazs happily. I didn't see Kaneko-san anywhere. I wonder if she went out somewhere. Hey Katori, do you have any plans for tomorrow? We can't do any tests or work due to the missing parts tomorrow, so it's a day off from club activities. Katori shook her head while eating ice cream. Then would you like to go see a movie? Oh yeah. Yeah, my mom gave me some tickets. I thought we could go together if you wanted. Apparently she got some free tickets from a customer. She said she's giving me these as a reward for my work as dorm mother, even though she just got them for free. That's very like my mother. Katori called out Asa-chan and they started whispering. You don't like movies? Even though they were whispering, I heard everything, so I cut in. Then what the fuck's the problem here? What are we discussing? Tori stopped eating her ice cream and was deep in thought. I think you'll be alright. The theater is at Windy. It's completely handicap friendly. Katori stared at me fixedly, wondering how I guessed what she was thinking about. And even if it wasn't, can't you just sit her in the damn chair? Like, how hard would that be? You already can lift her ass up. Whatever, anyway. So it's decided. Asa-chan said, and Katori giggled. Well then, I have to start getting dinner, eh? Give me a hand when you finish eating, okay? God damn it, it never fails. Once I start recording, gotta have a big fat yawn in the first 5 minutes. Gotta love it. Katori nodded and started to eat faster. Better help me with this dinner over here, Beezy. The next day. It was a nice morning. Sorry to keep you waiting, baby. When I finished my preparations and left the room, Katori was waiting at the entrance. What's wrong? How so? While I answered, oh really, I was feigning ignorance. I looked at myself. To be honest, I did dress up a little. After all, today we're going on our first official date. You kind of skipped a few things, but you know, it's cool. Let's go on the real first date now. Anyway, we've been going shopping or for walks together, but this is actually the first time it'll be just the two of us going out somewhere to spend time. Since normally I don't dress too stylishly, I decided to wear something a little better today. Katori groaned as she looked at her own clothes. Isn't what you're wearing fine? It's cute and it suits you. That, and we have to consider movie times. Katori reluctantly nodded. Quack quack. Katori took hat off her lap, and then I took her wheelchair and pushed it out the door. And our first date is a go. Today is Sunday. It's typically everyone's day off, so Wendy was fairly packed. Seems that the crowd overwhelmed Katori a little. The hell? It's a mall. How classy could it possibly be? Wendy was just built recently, so even the designs of the building is catered towards fashion. People coming and going were all dressed up in their best clothes and made the whole place look gorgeous. The last time I checked something other than the food store in the underground shopping center was when Anshan brought me along. I remember that back then I was fine because I was here with others. But when I saw it for the first time, I felt somewhat out of place. Well, I came here from my carefree hometown, but... Katori, you grew up in Tokyo, right? Aren't you used to places like this? I imagine there are many shopping malls like this in Tokyo. Well, yeah. It feels extraordinary, no doubt about it. For us, compared to living in the same dorm and seeing each other every day, this is a very fresh sensation. Katori said quietly. Really? I was sure you'd have experienced at least one date. Katori shook her head. Yeah, never imagined it'd be after the thing that usually happens, after a few dates. We kind of skipped that part, eh? Well, sorry. Tori looked down at her clothes. Why did you want something different from your usual clothes? Yeah, they suit you. Come on, let's go to the cinema. Alright. Let me know, I just can't wait. I'm going on our very first date. As one of Japan's leading commercial complexes, Wendy also had a multiplex. There were various movies playing right now. The tickets I got from my mom were good for any of them. Which one do you want to see? Surprisingly, Katori chose a war movie. She was probably attracted to the propeller-driven fighter in the poster, or on the poster. It was set in Europe during World War II. It was a romance story of an Air Force pilot and his lover. The subject of war was taken somewhat lightly, but it was just about right as a movie for a date. Katori and I were excited by the flight scenes. The romance seemed heartbreaking for a moment, but it delivered a happy ending that made our hearts aflutter. We don't even get to know what you guys did during the movie? Lame. I mean, they watched the movie, clearly. They didn't get distracted. Flying through the sky on a romantic date. Sounds familiar. Even after the movie was finished, Katori's excitement did not lessen. Those kind of retro planes are interesting too, aren't they? Why is it blasphemous? I wouldn't call that blasphemous, but I was also thinking about how much the glider differed from those kinds of airplanes while watching the movie. Now I need goggles. You want to use them during the test flight? Katori nodded. Well, you don't need them. The glider has a canopy. During flight, the canopy is shut. The only time it gets open is when you're falling, completely unable to control the glider, and have to use a parachute to escape. Well then, we need to take care of our stomachs too. How about lunch? What's this all of a sudden? I told you, I got those tickets from my mom. In addition, they were free tickets. At least let me treat you to lunch. Usually I don't get too many chances to do boyfriend-like stuff. We only just started dating, but our relationship hasn't changed all that much so far. Even before we started dating, we were getting along, and always together. The only difference is that now we've confessed our true feelings for each other. But we've also kissed and did other stuff. As I say, you act more like a boyfriend than most boyfriends. You crazy, Aoi. You think so? Indisputable, she says. Katori assured me proudly. As usual, she was full of confidence about strange things. I'll treat you to lunch. I get an allowance for working at the dorm. So what do you want to eat? Tori opened the floor guide. Matching Wendy's atmosphere, there are several fashionable restaurants here. Let me see. Seriously? Katori nodded vigorously. Taioken? A ramen restaurant? Oh, it's the one run by Matsatsugu's dad. Okay, so it's Mabo might be there. What the fuck? You never had ramen? Lies. Huh? Yeah. You're in Japan and you never had ramen? That's un-Japanese. It's like saying something's un-American, but if you're not, yeah, what the fuck? No, it's a food universally loved by everyone, like beef bowls or curry rice. The hell's wrong with you? That's right, Katori's family was somewhat well off. Her father was the kind of gentleman who would wear a suit even during summer. Alright, it's Taioken then. And we headed towards Taioken. Might be able to get a free comped meal too, shit. Hell yeah. No problem. Katori said with satisfaction while patting her stomach. You're welcome, baby. It made our date feel just a little less grandiose, but if it made her happy, I'm fine with it. Besides, it was considerably cheaper. When I introduced Katori to Matsatsugu's dad, he gave us such a massive discount that we almost ate for free. I knew it, see? Dude, free date? Let's go. Free movie tickets, free lunch, let's go. You might? Bitch, you gonna eat it every day. We can come anytime. Mabo's dad will probably give us discounts again, too. Tori's my girlfriend and really cute, so she received a warm welcome. Yep. With full and satisfied stomachs, we wandered through Windy. There were a lot of different kinds of shops. Most were aimed at women, since they sold clothing, bags, and accessories. There were also tableware and miscellaneous stores, a bookstore, a stationery shop, and even a dentist. Usually I have no interest in or any reason to go to places like this, but today is different. As we passed by the woman's clothing shop, I saw clothes I thought would suit Katori. Say, Katori, those clothes. Katori? Uh-oh. For some reason, Katori frowned as she watched another couple passing by. What's with the gloomy face? Was she irritated by their clinginess? No. We are on a date too. Okay. I lined up next to her as she requested, and Katori grabbed my hand. And then she started pushing the wheel of her wheelchair with the other hand. Hey! She just wanted to hold hands, dude. Come on now. So she just wanted to hold hands. Normal couples hold hands or link arms. Some even hold their hands around their waists and stick really close. It's not that I didn't want to. It's not that I didn't feel a little jealous when I was looking at them, but while we were holding hands and walking like this, the people around us were staring with surprised expressions. I had a similar expression. Moving the wheelchair with one hand looked, how should I put it, rather tough on her. Stop! 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 Aren't you out of breath? Don't push yourself. Yeah, she's like, bitch, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. Sure, compared to the average girl, Katori is certainly quite strong. Enough to go up the gently sloping the windmill hill. Why is every time the windmill hill? The windmill hill. It doesn't even matter where it is in a sentence, it's always the windmill hill. Even if when it doesn't make sense, like right now. Anyway, even to go up the gently sloping windmill hill by herself. I'm just going to ignore the word the every time I see windmill hill now. However, I think moving the wheelchair with one hand is too much. It looks exhausting, so stop it. I told her as I let go of her hand. I mean, that's true.
せっかくのデートなのに。
It hurt to see Katori feeling so downhearted. Then we'll walk side by side. This should be fine, right? Katori nodded, although she wasn't fully satisfied. I thought it must have been difficult for Katori to push herself, but I might have been too considerate in the end. It's definitely better to see her face. If you get tired, tell me right away, okay? Don't overdo it.
わかってます。もううるさいな。
Easy, please. We continued to walk around Windy aimlessly side by side. It's not that there was nowhere we wanted to go, but we weren't in a hurry. We still had plenty of time. Ah, this dress is nice. There was a light blue one-piece dress displayed in the shop window. That color looked just like the sky, so I thought it would suit Katori. I peeked at Katori, and she was also absent-mindedly looking at the same dress. Do you like it?
別にちょっと見てただけ。
Lies! I think it would suit you. I compared the dress with Katori's reflection in the shop window. Yeah, it would certainly suit her.
どうかな。似合うかな。
Yup. Even though she asked in a half-convinced way, she didn't exactly look doubtful. Maybe try it on?
いいよ。面倒だし、それにお店の人にも迷惑かかっちゃうの。
I peeked inside the store. A female shop assistant met my gaze and smiled at me.
何かお探しでしょうか。
This one-piece dress, can we try...
いえ、別に何でもないです。ほら、行こう。
Katori called out to me and quickly moved away. Hey, wait! With painful reluctance, I left the dress and chased after Katori. The shop assistant who greeted me bowed with a smile as she saw me off.
ドキドキした。
But why? Why'd you run away?
だって絶対
Oh, come
迷惑だっ
on.
て思われる
If that was the case, she would have said something, right?
もん。もういいの。服なんてお姉ちゃんに買ってきてもらうから。
You didn't like that dress?
そんなことないけど。でも、もういいの。さあ、行こう行こう。
Okay. Fine then. Crap. Katori's lost all of her enthusiasm. We completed our initial objective, watching a movie. With this kind of mood, it wouldn't be surprising if Katori suggested to go home already. What do you want to do now? Seems there's an arcade around here, but, check the floor guy looking for something interesting.
ちょっと疲れたかも。どこかで休みたい。
I was relieved that despite her drop in enthusiasm, she didn't say she wanted to go home. Well then, shall we check out that place?
あそこって
Actually, there was one more place I wanted to check out today. The cafe that you wanted to visit before. Katori tilted her head. You know, the place you said that has a delicious mifui? Taking the hint, Katori gasped.
カフェフラックス。
Sure, I don't know the name. Go to Cafe Flags. This was one entry on Katori's to-do list from before. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot it was called Cafe Flags, but sure. According to Agaha, they serve delicious sweets produced by a famous pastry shop. Back then, Katori didn't know that it was targeted at couples and a popular date spot. In the end, she crossed out that entry, completely blacking it out. Cafe Flags happens to be at Windy.
でも、あそこって高いんじゃ。
Don't worry, I got plenty of funds left. Lunch was very cheap after all. So let's go, Katori.
おお。
Oh. Hell yeah. Outside Cafe Flags, a line had formed, as expected from a popular place. The people waiting were primarily young couples, though a few older ladies hunched over with shopping bags were mixed in too.
ふわ、すごい人。
That means the food must be really good.
並ぶの？
Of course. We waited about 30 minutes. That's quite a line. Led in by the cafe staff, we finally stepped inside. All right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When we entered, the waiter took away one of the chairs at the table and led Katori there. All right.
こんなお店なんだ。
Katori muttered as she looked at the refined interior design. I also looked around with curiosity. We opened our menus. Whoa! So expensive. The cheapest cakes were around 800 yen. The tea was about the same, with more expensive ones exceeding 1,000 yen a cup. And their highly recommended mufui was 1,300 yen for a small slice? There's no doubt that the food is exceptionally good. No, it better be, or I'll be pissed! With such unrest tightening my chest, I asked Katori, well, what do you want?
じゃあミルフィーユとダージリンティーで。
I'll have a mifui too, and an iced tea. We call the waiter, place an order. We can finally try the famed mifui!
楽しみ。
You don't look too happy about it though. Still in low spirits. Overthinking everything has surely sent her thoughts down a negative spiral. Sorry about earlier.
なんで葵くんが謝るの？
I made you think about unpleasant things.
違うよ。葵くんは悪くないもん。ただ。
Katori stops talking mid-sentence. I didn't say anything and waited for her to start talking. Katori timidly looked up at me.
私なんかとデートしてて楽しい？
Fun? What is she saying all of a sudden? Katori gave me a fluttering glance from the opposite side of the table.
私のせいで目立っちゃってるでしょ？
What the fuck? If I cared about that, I wouldn't already be out with you in public. What the F? Anyway, whatever. She said and looked around, meeting the glances of other customers.
さっきここに入ってきた時もすごく
So
見
what?
られてたし。
Does that sort of thing bother you?
だって私こんなだから一緒にいて葵くんこそ嫌な思いしてるんじゃないかなって。それに服もこんなだし手だって繋いで歩けないし。
Katori gradually sank into herself. I told you your clothes are cute. It wasn't just flattery, you know.
そうかな。
You like them, right? Katori nodded deeply.
お姉ちゃんが選んでくれた服だから。
As expected from Hibari-san, she knows what would suit Katori. When I thought that, I felt a little jealous, though. I think those clothes from earlier would suit you too. It seems they are on your mind, too.
私みたいな子がおしゃれするのって変だって思われないかな。
Why would that be strange? No, I wouldn't think so. Rather, it's weirder not to dress up.
そうかな。
You just said that we're standing out because of you, right? But I don't think it's because of the wheelchair, really. You're cute. That's why everyone's looking.
違うよ。
Duh, dude. Cute girl in a wheelchair? Vulnerability, dude. I mean, I'm not being like what do you call it? I'm not being insensitive, but I'm just saying it's true. It's true. You look at a person in a wheelchair, you think, I don't think I should be attracted to somebody who's handicapped. Just because you don't, you know, your first thought is to not be, but then you look at it like, that's a pretty cute girl in that wheelchair. I might go say hi. Like, you might actually have that thought, and it might feel weird to you. Just saying. Anyway. You're always saying you're a beautiful girl yourself, though.
それはそうなんだけど。
So she can admit that. Tori is cute. She's almost impossibly beautiful. That's why everyone's stealing glances at her. And if there are any inquisitive gazes, it's because they're wondering how such a beautiful girl ended up in a wheelchair. Exactly, see? See? And that's why you say hi and you wonder why the fuck they're in the wheelchair in the first place. Like, damn, you stay in good shape for being in a wheelchair. What up with it, girl? Is this temporary? Permanent? Like, how'd this happen? Just saying. Of course, it may be a bit uncomfortable for her, but I don't think it's something to get depressed about. You're cute, Katori. So much that everyone turns to look at you. I'm delighted to be on a date with a girl like you, so stop making that face.
葵くん。
Tori smiled a little. That's more like it. You're even cuter when you're smiling. After all, you're a self-proclaimed cool beauty.
あ、それ忘れろって言ったのにまだ覚えてた。
I forgot about it, too. There's no way I could forget something that intense. When I recalled it, I couldn't help but laugh. She was sitting straight with an aloof, confident smile, brushed up her hair with a smooth gesture, and called herself Cool Biyuchi. When she fumbled while brimming with confidence, it was an indescribable experience.
もう意地悪なんだから。
Katori grumbling like that made her even cuter. I felt like teasing her a bit more, but I restrained myself for now. Instead, I held my hand out across the table. Katori realized my intentions and timidly put her hand in mine. We can always hold hands when we're not walking. But nobody besides us can have a date in a glider soaring in the sky, right? I'm sure other couples who were on a date at Wendy today would be jealous. Katori looked at me excitedly.
そうだね
Yeah, you damn right, baby. She nodded, slightly embarrassed. So smile for me. Your smiling face is the cutest sight ever.
ありがとう
Damn, dude. Always got some smooth words, though. I mean, he has to say something. This girl's all shy and meek. Meek? Is meek's the right word? I don't know. She's being all friggin' shy and coy. That's a good word. On the date. Even though she, or I should say, depressing downer. Anyway, the point is she doesn't have to be, and she still is. She's supposed to be having fun. Katori giggled shyly. The waiter brought us the tea and cakes. Flustered, Katori drew her hand back. The waiter saw that and smiled gently. The waiter placed the plates with cakes on the table. Cake. Oh? Oh? Katori's eyes sparkled when she saw the mufui. Katori, watch out! You almost started drooling after you saw that cake. Katori wiped her mouth hurriedly.
だってほら見てよこれこの
Whoa!
ミルフィーユ
Oh god. Of course I'm looking at it. I have the same thing in front of me.
神々しいオーラを感じない絶対美味しいよこれ見ればわかる
It just
わ
looks delicious. You don't even need to eat it. Katori muttered that she expected nothing less from a world-famous pastry shop as she examined the mui from every angle. Strawberries and deeply colored custard were sandwiched between countless layers of puff pastry. On top of it, there was fresh ice cream with a large strawberry. Oh my! Over the strawberry was a transparent gelatinous sauce. Illuminated by the cafe's lights, it glittered like a jewel. It's only natural that Katori declared it would be delicious before even tasting it. I knew it. When you're angry or depressed, nothing works better than sweets.
そんなことないこともないこともない
Damn right you can't disagree.
もう
Eat your ice cream and cake. What do you mean? In any case, I'm glad you seem to have cheered up. Katori nodded shyly. Well, this place can make you feel quite bashful, I guess. Come on, let's eat. Katori quickly nodded in agreement. Nom 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 nom.
こっくりでは
Katori gripped her knife and fork with trembling hands and brought them to the mui-fui. Crunch. The knife cutting into the puff pastry made a delightful sound. Oh. Katori took a slice of pastry with strawberries and cream onto her fork and carefully brought it to her lips. Oh, shit. Flavor explosions! Katori brought her hand to her cheek and raised her voice without thinking. When the waiter saw this, he smiled and nodded, not surprised by that reaction. It's like, damn, girls be squealing when they eat our cake.
口の中に広がる濃厚で芳醇な
Profound flavor
深い味わい
fills the mouth. Anyway, cool.
これは幸せの味なのです
Taste of happiness. Looks like it's so delicious that Katori even started talking in a weird way. Let's see. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Man, this is really good. First, I felt the sourness and aromatic sweetness of the strawberries. However, those were wrapped up in the mild sweetness of the cream, and its texture was accented by the crispiness of the puff pastry. Different textures and different levels of sweetness were in perfect harmony, creating a luxurious, refined composition. Without exaggerating, I can say that this is the best cake I have ever eaten. This is the kind of cake you'd only eat on special occasions like birthdays and Christmas. The very concept of cake that I've had so far was smashed by this taste. No, by this experience.
幸せ
Tori muttered while eating the cake, happy from the bottom of her heart. The fact that it was more effective than me cheering her up was slightly frustrating, though. After all, my strategy of abating Katori's anger with Haagen-Dazs was correct.
紅茶も美味しいもう昇天しちゃいそう
Don't get too used to it, shit's expensive. Katori said her impressions ecstatically and reached under the wheelchair and rummaged about. What she pulled out was Isuka-san's navigation log. You're always carrying that around with you.
大事なものなんだもん
Yeah, dude, it's special, okay? This wheelchair experienced much rougher handling than an average wheelchair. Dashing through the rain at full speed, fighting the winds on hill roads, falling over sometimes, moving through the beach covered in sand. Because of that, the frame was even bent and needed repairs the other day. The log, which had been there the whole time, was pretty worn out too. Katori opened it like an old veteran. She went to the page with the to-do list. She marked the completely blacked out entry where Go to Café Flags was once written as completed.
これでまた一つコンプリートできたわ。
This entry was supposed to be erased, but she's quite persistent. Katori gazed at the page with satisfaction, then turned her gaze towards the cake. And then she looked at me. Fixedly. Oh god. Munch, munch, munch? Question mark?
やっぱり今が私の人生のピー
This
クな
might
の
be
か
the
も。
best stretch of my life ever. Huh? What did you say?
こんな優しくてかっこいい彼氏ができて、頼りになる仲間たちもいて、空を飛びたいっていう夢ももうすぐ叶う。こういうのをリア充っていうのよね。
Get a real life. What do you mean?
リアルが充実している人のことよ。私はきっとリア充ね。
Who you calling a no-lifer? Playing video games through the internet. You can say I have no life? Come on. I got life. Second life. It's not a no life. Okay? Okay. As she said that, Katori impaled a giant strawberry on her fork.
このミルフィーユがこんなにも美味しいのは葵くんがいてくれるからだもん。きっと。
Probably true. She muttered very seriously for some reason and then stuffed her cheeks with the strawberry. As usual, her train of thought was a little strange. Maybe that's her way of expressing happiness. Whether feeling down or feeling great, my girlfriend is unique. Then, only one thing remains. Katori looked up at me questioningly. I pointed at the topmost entry on the list. Cross the Passage of Clouds. The entry left by Isuka-san. Katori stared at that entry while restlessly eating her mifui.
この夢もきっともう叶うわ。
Either that or we'll die trying! A morning glory is supposed to appear by the end of summer. That is, very soon.
葵くんがみんなの思いを乗せて連れてってくれるもん。
Not necessarily. I was only chosen as the pilot because there was no one else suitable. But that might change when tomorrow comes. With a small delay, Katori realized what I wanted to say.
無理無理無理無理。だって私これから練習するのよ。
Oh, you're going. You're flying. You're running first. You're the main pilot. I'm just gonna be your co-pilot. I was like this last year too, but I did fly. When I think about it now, it was absurd. It was actually pretty dangerous.
葵くんは飛んでみたくないの？モーニンググローリーを。
I want to fly. I really, really want to. It was within our reach, and yet we didn't get there. I will never forget that vexing feeling from last year.
じゃあパイロットは葵くんでいいじゃない。何も問題ないわ。
Tori said as calmly as she could, and took another bite of mifui.
もう変なこと言うからドキドキしちゃったじゃない。
As Katori said this, her face turned red, like a strawberry. Okay then. Thanks for the food. You really fine with this?
いいの。私が出すの。
Tori insisted.
私いつも葵くんにしてもらってばかりだもん。こんなんじゃ全然足りないけど、私も何かしてあげたいの。
Then I will accept your treat without hesitation. Tori took care of the cafe flag's check. Or took care? I don't know where I got fair from. Anyway, though there was only the pastries and tea between the two of us, the check was a pretty sizable amount. Even so, the mifui was delicious. As I said this, Katori's mouth seemed to recall the taste of the mifui, and her eyes were shining brightly.
すっごく美味しかった。人気が出るのも当然ね。後でひばり姉にも教えてあげなくちゃ。
Tori spoke with wild excitement. She regained all her vigor. Well then, what do you want to do now? Shall we get out of Windy and go somewhere a little quieter? Tori was looking at the floor guide, deep in thought. It seemed like she would need a while. The roof here is made out of glass, and the bright sunlight was pouring from the sky. While Katori was concentrating, I peeked up at the blue sky. Looking at this beautiful weather makes me want to go flying. Huh, near that cloud should be a good thermal. When I was thinking about this, I suddenly realized Katori was looking at me. What?
いや、なんでもないよ。ただちょっとかっこいいなって。
Only kinda cool?
葵くんはそうやって空を見上げてるときが一番かっこいい。
Looking at the sky makes me look cool? Okay. Makes me look aloof and really cool. I see. Well, thanks. Maybe I'll stare at the sky more often. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's test.
私頑張るね。せっかくみんなが私のためにいろいろしてくれたから。
Tori was very enthusiastic about it. I patted her head gently. So have you decided where you want to go? Oh yeah, she said and looked back at the floor guide.
ここのゲームセンターに行ってみたいんだけど、その前に。
Tori hesitated like she had something difficult to say.
やっぱりさっきの水色のワンピース。
Oh
試
shit!
着してみようかな。
Let's go. Embarrassed, she looked away the moment she said this. I quickly got behind her and started pushing her wheelchair. It will certainly suit you! Oh, we have to. Someone might buy it before we get there. Come on, let's go, Katori. Before Katori could change her mind, I rushed to the store. No changing your mind now, Bize. What, you just sat around and waited for us to get back? What the F? Agaha was at Flying Fish Manor when we returned. What, you came here again? We don't have club activities today, so hang out somewhere else. Asa-chan pressed Katori impatiently.
すんごい楽しかったわ。映画が大当たりでさ、お昼の豚骨ラーメンがまた最高で。それ何？あ、これはね。
Katori placed a paper bag on the table. She's been holding it like it was precious. Agaha recognized the logo on that bag.
そのショップ知ってる。服買ってきたんだ。結構高かったでしょう。違う。
Agaha tilted her head in puzzlement.
買ってもらったの。
Tori's face beamed with a smile.
うわ、うぜ。聞くんじゃなかったわ。見て見て、ほら。ワンピースだ。綺麗な色。小鳥先輩に似合いそう。葵くんもそう言ってね、買ってくれたの。
Agaha and Yoro-chan looked at me fixedly for some reason. Well then, I guess I'll go and clean the bathroom?
お風呂なら、かなこさんが入ってるわよ。
Then I'll go clean the entranceway.
でねでね、映画の後、カフェフラックスでミルフィーユ食べて。
I left Katori proudly talking about our date and slipped out into the dining hall. Okay, that's fun. Too many girls around, man. Too many. Let them gossip. Let them talk. Let them jibber jabber. I'm out. I gotta go clean some shit. It's morning. Finally, today's the day.
おはよう、ハット。まだ早いから寝てていいわよ。
Back. I got out of bed and changed into my clothes. I moved my wheelchair and got to my desk. I took the notebook, Isuka's flight log that I had placed on my desk last night. Okay, so now we're from Katori's perspective. I was like, what the hell? Am I sleeping in Katori's room on a regular basis now? What's going on here? Nah. Okay. Ever since the day I found this notebook, I began gazing up at the sky. Even before then, I had a vague yearning to fly. My name means small bird, after all. I didn't like it when I was a kid, but I was conscious of it. I joined a ballet club and practiced jumping higher and higher every day, but no matter how high I jumped, I still couldn't fly. It was very frustrating. After the accident, when I couldn't move my legs anymore, this irritation became even stronger. It felt like my wings had been pulled off and that I was tossed into a cage. Then I found this notebook. It was a record of how one girl found a way to fly and did it herself. In my heart, the vague desire to fly was tied to the silhouette with spread white wings. I want to try flying too. I put myself in Isuka's shoes and read this journal like I was reading a fairy tale. Many times over.
あの日思い描いた憧れに、今日手が届くんだ。
Oh yes. Today will be that day. When I thought that,
緊張してよく眠れなかった。
because of that, my eyelids were so heavy. Don't fall asleep on your first flight.
起きてます 起きないと遅刻しちゃいますよ。ええ、起きてるわ。すぐ行く。はーい。ハット、行ってくるわね。お利口にしてるのよ。くー。
Damn duck.
今日も暑くなりそうだな。
Senpai complained while looking at the sun reproachfully. The sky was clear, small clouds were floating here and there, and there was a little bit of wind.
いい？こっちが操縦桿で、これがラダー操作よ。間違えないでね。
Don't mix them up, or you might die.
こっちが操縦桿、こっちがラダー。
Tori, sitting in the cockpit, repeated the instructions with a meek expression. Don't touch them until I let you, especially during takeoff, so this could be seriously dangerous.
わかってる。
From the rear seat, I could only see the back of Tori's head, but I still could feel her tension.
小鳥、小鳥。
Amane Senpai approached. Today she took the day off to come here. She wanted to see the cockpit she designed in action. On top of that, she still hadn't seen any test flights of the improved glider. I'm kind of busy right now, so what the fuck do you want?
緊張しているな。空は怖いぞ。高いからな。
She said in an extremely good mood.
そういう時は人という字を手にたくさん書いて飲むといいんだぞ。
She was waiting this whole time just to throw this back in her face. Tori glared at her.
私今気が立ってるからからかうなら後にしてちょうだい。
I like that Amane can make fun of people too, and we just don't realize it. It's more like getting even than making fun of her, though. Back when Senpai was scared before the original test flight, Tori slapped her in the face many times with the hand where she wrote the person kanji on. Even Amane Senpai can be a little unexpectedly vengeful at sometimes.
そんな君にこれを貸してやろう。
Amane Senpai held out the charm to prevent traffic accidents. Tori gave Nice.
ありがとう、
Nice.
こちら配置につきました。
Asa-chan, who was in charge of operating the winch, said this over the radio.
よーし、じゃ飛びますか。小鳥、大空のデート楽しんできてね。
Date in the sky. The canopy was closed. I felt the tension rising. We did the final checks and prepared for takeoff. From the rear seat, I gauged Katori's mood. Though she was nervous, it seemed she was itching to do this. Do you remember the takeoff procedure?
ちゃんとシミュレータで予習してきたわ。
Amane Senpai's simulator also covered takeoff and landing. Even if the controls are different due to Katori's disability, I'm sure she at least memorized all the procedures. Then let's go! I gave Agatha the sign that we were ready. Agatha then signaled to Asa-chan that the takeoff preparations were complete. The winch started up, and then it exploded! No, I'm just kidding. The glider that Katori and I were riding on and ran down the runway. In mere seconds, the white airframe, with huge spread wings, left the ground to soar high in the sky. When we released the towing rope, turn around and confirm the separation with your eyes. The winch was pulling the glider using a towing rope, a long rope connected by a hook. Why do we always have to recap shit like we haven't done this like 500 times in this playthrough? Seriously. When the releasing lever is pulled, the hook was and it fell to disconnect a major accident. Yeah. The glider passes over the winch, the hook is automatically disconnect between. Yeah, but the system isn't perfect. Got it. Cool. Tori visually confirmed the falling parachute. Alright, takeoff successful. So today we'll start with the basics of flying. Hi! I explained the glider's basic operations to Katori. From normal turns to steep turns and other important points, if it's just normal glider flight, there weren't that many operations to be remembered. The only complicated procedures are during takeoff and landing. Besides those, there was also practice on how to recover from unexpected situations like stalls or spins. And while those are all vital to prevent accidents, it wasn't necessary to teach her those right now. Alright, give it a try. No, not left! Just kidding. Katori grasped the levers, which operate the control stick and rudder. I kept my hand on the control stick, but didn't put any strength in it. The glider banked to the left and started turning. It's crazy! We're slipping. Step on the rudder a bit more. In Katori's case, she couldn't exactly step on it, but I said it like this out of habit. Slipping means that the nose is pointing in the opposite direction of the bank of the wings. The glider was facing left, it was meant to turn in that direction. If the nose was facing right, during the turn, the airframe would fly somewhat sideways. In short, if the nose isn't facing the direction of travel, and you leave it as is, the lift will decrease and the airframe will drop more than necessary. Katori leaned the lever, which operated the rudder. The nose of the plane faced inward. When the glider regained balance, it smoothly turned left. Pay attention to the yaw string. The yaw string resembles an earthworm and is attached to the front of the canopy where the air current hits. It is a very simple but useful gauge made from knitting wool. When you're turning left or right, the yaw string indicates a slip or skid. This single piece of thread will lean outwards when the plane is slipping and inwards when it's skidding. If it's outstretched straight during the turn, the airframe is balanced and you can perform a clean maneuver. If the yaw string is bent, you should apply more rudder in the opposite direction. Now, one more time, try turning right. Hi! While checking the yaw string, Katori operated the control stick and rudder. The glider banked right. This time, it was turning smoothly and properly balanced. She's a natural. I brought some ice cream so we can eat it before they get back so they don't get jelly. Yay!
どう姉さん。まだ飛んでるよ、小鳥先輩。よくわからないけど、初めてじゃないみたいに上手。小鳥はすごいな。もう私よりうまいぞ。
It's only because you're hella uncoordinated. Otherwise, you'd be way better than all of us combined.
あの子、もともと運動神経はいいみたいだし。それシミュレーターをかなりやり込んでたものね。知ってたんだ。偶然見ちゃっただけです。秘密基地でコソコソしてるから何してるのかと思って。
Yoro, you nosy Nancy.
努力してる姿を人に見せない小鳥先輩、かっけえです。単に張り切ってるのバレるのが恥ずかしかっただけだと思うけど。
She just didn't want to show anybody she was so excited about it. And you know what? I could kind of understand that feeling to just not want to show people your enthusiasm about something that maybe they think would be a little bit ridiculous that you're so excited about it. Even though in this case it doesn't make any sense, but still. Sometimes enthusiasm, while it can be contagious, can also be like, dude, calm the fuck down. It's cool, but calm down, dude. It's cool, but calm down, dude.
でも、小鳥が努力家なのは間違いないわね。
Exactly. In the end, you still appreciate the hard work that comes from the enthusiasm, so it's all good. Tori's flight training continued. We were gradually losing altitude, but we still had some margin. That's thanks to Katori keeping the sink rate to a minimum. Whee! The airframe gliding through the empty air lightly shook upwards for a moment. Probably a thermal. If we get on it, we could fly higher. Hell yeah, let's go. Katori turned the glider around and searched for the spot we just passed. Whee! There was a reaction. Thermals have cores. To find those, you should fly in circles with a small radius if possible. Katori searched for the core while flying around, slowly drawing a figure 8. Suddenly, our rate of climb increased noticeably. Dude. As Katori found the core, she leaned the control stick and tried to make a sharp turn. Whoa! Whoa! The glider turned while maintaining a steep bank angle. As we turned sideways, we were assaulted by a strong G-force. I felt it as if all of my blood went to one side. My consciousness got a bit hazy. When I've got controlling the glider myself, I can't predict when the G-force will kick in. It's quite tough. While thinking that, I shouted, "Be more gentle when you're turning. You have a passenger." It's fine when you're by yourself. Tori loosened up on the control stick. The bank got shallower and the G-force weakened. Take a good look at the variometer. Even though the glider should have entered the thermal's core, it was actually sinking. When you bank deeply, the sink rate will also increase. You should find just the right amount of turning radius while judging the strength of the thermal. If the turning radius is small, the bank gets too steep and the glider loses altitude. Nevertheless, to be able to climb, you'd have to find a thermal strong enough to raise the airframe despite this issue. If the thermal's core is very strong, it's better to bank a little steeper to stay away from it, or to stay within it. Of course, there's a limit. But otherwise, it's necessary to keep the bank shallow to reduce the sinking rate. Pretty much. Yes, so who's the idiot who made a steep turn to stay inside the core? No matter how strong the updraft in the core, it won't carry the glider upward if it's banked too steeply. Furthermore, the constant G-force will really make you lose consciousness before too long. Well, fucking quit being so goddamn impatient. Katori said this impatiently. Damn, what a daredevil. However, the turn itself was very neat. Oh, it was a good turn. It just didn't do anything for us, you know what I'm saying? I watched the yaw string and there was almost no slip. At first glance it seemed unreasonable, but in reality it was a beautiful, perfectly balanced turn. Sink rate was also kept at a minimum. There's no need to rush. It's better to climb slowly. I just don't want you to be better at flying than me after one try, okay? Katori replied cheerfully, then maintained an appropriate bank to make the glider climb. What is it, Agaha? We caught a great thermal. It's fine. I'm backing her up. You heard her. Don't overdo it. She's like, I'm gonna fly away from this town right now. Katori responded, concentrating on flying. She was completely focused on riding the thermal. I was honestly surprised when I gazed at the ground, getting distant. There's almost nothing left to teach her. When it comes to basic operations, she's almost perfected everything. She's beyond a fast learner. No matter how many times you use the simulator, it's not the same as actually flying. Katori got the hang of it right away and was able to catch an invisible thermal and take the glider higher. Her piloting skills, no. Her senses might be far above the rest of us. Best pilot of them all, dude. She's gonna get us over that goddamn morning glory without even trying. She's a beast. I told you, fucking natural over here. Katori muttered while gazing out through the canopy. Meanwhile, the glider continued climbing steadily. This is a good thermal. It's quite strong. There's quite a bit of crosswind right now, so be careful. When I said this, Katori looked down. Don't look down! That's because we're twice as high up from the Tokyo Tower right now. Right now, our altitude is approximately 700 meters. We caught a good thermal, and Katori ended up climbing this high on her first flight. From this height, being directly above the windmill hill, we could see all of it with one sweep of the eye. The hill ran alongside the lake in a semi-circular shape. That shape catches the breeze blowing from above the lake. The wind gets stronger as it travels up the hill and it rotates the windmills. The wind that blows from above the lake gets caught by the half-moon-shaped hill. It gathers there and gets stronger and then runs up the hill. The windmills were built there because of this phenomenon. Tori sighed softly, her voice carrying a hint of pain. Let's just fly away and never come back. When she's flying, she doesn't need her legs. Only in times like these does she truly seem free. I knew it. It suits you better to fly on your own instead of having someone else fly for you. Tori thought about it a little before answering. My name? My father picked it. His hobby was photography. He would often take pictures of the sky. He told me that on the day I was born, the sky was deep blue, and that's why he named me Aoi.
へえ。じゃあここは葵くんの故郷みたいなもんだね。
Yeah, we're kind of the same. I replied while smiling at our embarrassing exchange. Now that you mention it, there was a clear blue sky on the day I heard how I got my name, too. It feels special to me. Well, after that, I learned that the kanji for my name actually refers to a greenish blue color. It was a little disappointing.
空の上って気持ちいい。ずっと飛んでいられたらいいのに。
Rising into the sky in a glider felt marvelous. It was as if we were released from the bounds of gravity. Sakatori's profile as she gazed outside the canopy. She looked like she was thinking about a faraway birthplace. Don't be careless. Remember, always pay attention to the airflow. Otherwise, we'll lose altitude.
Hi.
Hi. Katori answered vigorously and gripped the control stick more firmly. Work on that grip, girl.